Hi, I'm John Reneski, and my modern media platform is color television. I'm kidding, but in a manner of speaking, it's the truth. Let's go back in time to 1964. I was 6, and Dad, after a marathon session in the basement shop, announced he had a surprise for us after Sunday dinner. Sitting in the living room was a brand new color television that Dad built from a Heath kit. We turned it on just in time to watch The Wonderful World of Disney, which in 1961 had changed the opening to The Wonderful World of Color. In 1997, Bill Cotter, writing in The Wonderful World of Disney Television, A Complete History, suggested that the Walt Disney Company was committed to color technology, not only in film, but also in broadcast. In 1961, Disney moved The Wonderful World of Disney from the ABC network because they refused to pay for the development of color to NBC, RCA. NBC was not only a broadcast network, but RCA, Radio Corporation of America, had over the years moved into the manufacture and sale of color televisions. Walt believed color was the wave of the future, and in 1964, we were lucky enough to be the first house on the block to have color TV. Without this early exposure to the wonders of color in broadcast, I would not have chosen streaming media as my media of choice. The first time I ever gave much thought to streaming media was about 8 years ago. I was in a holding pattern in my doctoral studies as I had just fired my dissertation chair, and I was in the process of looking for a new one. I decided to relax a bit and watch some TV. Amazon Prime had recently sent me an email suggesting a new police procedural show called Bosch, starring Titus Welliver. I watched the first episode, and I was hooked, watching all 10 episodes in a day and a half. The character Bosch is a jazz aficionado, and jazz artists are a big part of the storyline. I just happened to have a jazz musician client who needed more exposure, and Bosch seemed like an opportunity that was calling my name. Michael Connolly, the executive producer for Bosch, and upon whose books the Bosch series is based, eventually included my client's music as part of the audio version of new Bosch novels. Becoming a small part of the Bosch universe would never have happened if I had not streamed the first episode. As I was working on the Bosch project for my client, I discovered two interesting tidbits. These are just weird. First, a cousin on one side of my family grew up with Michael Connolly and his wife in St. Petersburg. And a second cousin, this time on the other side of my family, was beaming about his granddaughter, who was the actress playing Bosch's daughter. Sometimes it is a small world, and for me, this all came about as a result of my first video streaming experience. In one sense, it is easy to trace the roots of video streaming back to the early days of television. But that is only part of the story. West, 2014, and Hazlitt, 2017, discussed the modern story of the streaming evolution as one that combines not only marketing and technology, but the politics of the radio spectrum. Zambelli in 2013 suggested that the ESPN Sports Zone streaming of a live baseball game in 1995 between Seattle and New York to thousands of ESPN subscribers by tech startup Progressive Networks was the beginning of the streaming revolution. Progressive eventually changed its name to Real Networks, and over the next decade, numerous technological advances occurred, leading to 2008 and 2009, where Microsoft and Apple had streaming technology and Netflix had launched its Watch Instantly service. By 2010, with a technology called HTTP dynamic streaming, adaptive streaming quickly became the foundation for sports and premium on-demand services such as Netflix and Amazon Instant Video. Video streaming has led to the pop cultural phenomena of cord cutting, the act of severing ties with a cable provider. Streaming has affected the temporal hierarchy. Prior to streaming, networks and cable companies controlled the content and also when you consumed it. With streaming, consumers are totally in charge. This is John Reneski. Thank you.